Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday live stream. So we got a lot of things to go over. Let's just jump right in. So today, as we take a look at the markets, I don't usually take a look at the markets per se, but I think it's important some days to actually just to give this relevance as time goes on and people look back at certain videos. So today we can see that there's quite a little bit of a drop going on. And this is April 24th. It's around high noon Eastern Standard Time. If you're watching this video, or when we splice this up, you might see a little later, and it might be much different. But Bitcoin's down 3% in 24 hours, 64,000. Actually, I think everything's down in the last 24 hours. Let me see if anything's up. Tron. Wow. Hedera's up. Well, we'll talk about this. The Hedera HBAR situation, still up 20%. But over the last hour, it's a sea of red. What's happening? Anybody's guess? Probably more sellers than buyers, and I'm sure somebody will come up with some fantastic reason as to far as why this is actually dipping, but this is what we have. I really am not concerned about the short term. What I'm talking about today, and of course, the whole point of the thumbnail and title was really even it's hard to lose as we invest moving forward post halving, and even like the losers win. I'm not saying that what I'm going to talk about right now are losers as far as crypto, but as far as like some of the fastest horses, definitely not. And what I want to take a look at was, of course, I don't have a crystal ball. I can't go forward, but I can go in reverse and just see how things have gone. Since we just had our halving on 19th of April, 2024, I want to take a look back historically. And this is from CoinMarketCap, the historical reference, as we take a look at the top 10 as of 17th of May 2020. 17th of May 2020. And what I can see here is that this is, some of you are going to laugh, but this is how it was back then. And we can see that the top 10, it was Bitcoin, Ethereum, which hasn't changed too much, XRP, which could do no wrong. And of course, the XRP community got hosed as time went on, and they were entangled in the SEC grips. And we'll talk about their loss and wins today. Tether, and then number 5, Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin SV, because back then everybody thought that everything that had to do with Bitcoin was going to be fantastic, and that didn't really turn out to be correct. Litecoin, Binance Coin, EOS, and Tezos. And then rounding out the next two is Stellar and Cardano and Chainlink and Monero and stuff like that. So what I want to do is just extrapolate that and just to see how things are as if we pulled forward and what we could have done. And again, like we talked about yesterday, we talked about dollar cost averaging and how that doesn't really work too well. I mean, it still works, but it doesn't work as great as if you dynamic DCA. And we proved it. We took a look at post halving, just the things to do, and just watch the video. We don't have time for that here. That's outside the scope of this video itself. What I want to show you today is what would happen if we would have said, you know what, I'm going to take these top 10 because this is what I knew. Back then, that's what I know. Today, this is all you know. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Tether, BNB, Solana, USD, Staked Ether, XRP, and Dogecoin, and Toncoin are in the top 10. So that's all you know. Next, in 40 years, it could be totally different as opposed to taking a look at this. That's why altcoins are so risky, and that's why people talk about Bitcoin so much. So let's just take that historical reference and just do this. Let's just do a lump sum and throw in $1,000. Okay, $1,000 into the top 10 as of May 17th, 2020. And in all honesty, even if you would have done that at that point, that's why I say it's kind of hard to lose. When I put this together this morning, I was like, damn, it's like almost impossible. I mean, it's possible, trust me. I can, as far as traders go, they have an inordinate ability to grasp or to take back defeat from the jaws of victory by not selling. So if I did $1,000, right? Again, roughly, I would put this on May 12th. Let's just do May 17th, just to keep things on the up and up, as we just talked about. So May 17th, I put $1,000 in, and I put it into Ethereum, BNB, XRP, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, Tezos, EOS. What was the other one? I think I missed one. Oh, Bitcoin SV. Let's see if I can add that in. Because that's Bitcoin Cash. It might not be here because, oh my God, it is. Well, congratulations. You've got Bitcoin SV. So even if you would do that and you put $1,000 in and didn't do anything because you're like, I don't want a DCA, I got $1,000. Look at the returns on, let's take April 23rd. You would have outperformed dollar cost averaging. I'll tell you that right now. Bitcoin, you're up 400%. You invested 1,000, you got 5,500. It's pretty good. XRP, you would have beat Bitcoin, 481%. Ethereum, 1,044%. Wow, it's pretty good. And then BNB, you would have crushed it at almost $30,000. But then what I want you to notice is that even if you would have put it into, I'm not going to say losers, but let's be honest, some of these totally underperformed. Tezos, EOS, Bitcoin Cash, Litecoin, and Bitcoin SV. You're still up 30%, 84%, 112%, and 240%, and also 451%. So again, this is why I say, like, when we're doing these things like post-halving, you're in the right place at the right time. Can I tell you what to invest in and how much to invest in and that it's going to be all right and rainbows are going to shoot out of every... No, that's not what I'm saying. But I'm saying if you just take a look back, it's hard to screw this up. And the only way you screw this up, quite honestly, even if, let's see, let's take November 2022. That's roughly the bottom. Look at this. I didn't even think about this. It's all right now. November 24th, 2022, you're still up 1,700% on BNB. You're still up 481% on Ethereum. XRP, you're up 100%. Litecoin, 80%. And Bitcoin, you're up 77%. Now, again, losers. Tezos, EOS, Bitcoin, Satoshi Vision, Bitcoin Cash. You're down 50%, 60 to 80%. But it's tough. It's tough to screw this up moving forward. So that's just that piece. And I also want to show you this, because right now, because we're stuck in this time frame, we're stuck in this zone of stasis where we think that, okay, well, this is awful. Things are down 3%. We're kind of chopping sideways. What happened to halving? Everything is supposed to go up. It's not how it works. If you take a look here, again, time in the market is much more important some days than timing the market. Everybody's down for the hour. As far as like Ethereum, Cardano, I mean, everything in the top 20, 30 or something like that. You're down over the hour. You're all red. Congratulations. Over a day, the only people that are up are Algo, for some misinformation, quite honestly, and Maker, I guess. 1 week you're up, but over 1 month you're down. But here's the great glorious thing about doing what you did in the bear market. Over the 200-day average, or 200 days, look how much you're up. I mean, you're up big time. Bitcoin, you're up 131%. What's on 200? You're up on Avalanche? Oh yeah, 250% for Avalanche. Solana, 500%, 180% for BNB. 104% for Maker, 117. I mean, you get where I'm going here. The only loser right now for the 200-day is Monero. And Monero gets crushed all the time because it's a privacy chain. And the centralized exchanges don't want to list it because they don't want to deal with the SEC, even though they're a bunch of losers. I'm saying losers a lot today. I really shouldn't. It's very negative. And then, of course, over 1 year, most people are up except for Matic. So again, it's tough to be a loser, but people will say, but Rob, you don't understand. This time is different. It's so different because of the ETFs and how far we're going. I have to agree in some ways. Although I was it was an interesting find. And I think most people know this, but it's good to bring this to light. Here's the Bitcoin holdings over time. And you can see that in the beginning, it's all grayscale. This little blue mark right here, this nice little blue bar. You can see that when this started on January 10th, it was all grayscale. And of course, they started dumping and dumping and dumping. But the whole thing I wanted to show you was that as far as like the total, as far as Bitcoin units, it's 620,000, give or take, 620,000. But if you notice over the first month or so, it wasn't like there was a huge influx of people. It was just grayscale dumping and other people buying, mostly Blackrock and grayscale. I mean, Blackrock, FBTC, and what was the other one? Fidelity. So it's just like it went from 620,000 to 650,000 over a month. It's just changing hands. Yes, it's a lot of volume, I get it. But then if we come over here, we can see that we're actually at around 820,000. So over the course of oh, 3 months or so, 200,000 have fallen into the hands of the ETFers, which is fine. And excuse me, 200,000 over 3 months. And just to take a look at it, just to kind of zoom in for a bit. April 23rd, there was a lot of outflows. Look at Grayscale, almost 1,000 for as far as units. And then we've had, a good amount of inflows. So they're soaking up all the things, but I think it's just like a switching of hands and a slow point. Yes, there will be a supply shock at some point. Yes, Grayscale will run out this time. Yes, I understand that. But I got to tell you, 200,000 over 3 months, is 200,000 Bitcoin themselves? MicroStrategy. MicroStrategy just by itself, this is from Bitcoin Treasuries. You can see that they have 214,000, 246 Bitcoin. So yes, I understand that things are a little bit different now, and I can see the point. I think this is great timing for us as time goes on. But then people will say, but Rob, what about the macro? Because Jerome Powell is higher for longer. We're doing quantitative tightening. Doesn't seem as not as much or near as quantitative easing. We see some signs of weakness in the economy itself, and of course, we've got massive debt. And I got to agree with you, but I will say this: this is from the U.S. debt clock. I don't know if you've ever seen this, but it's fascinating because you can just see the U.S. national debt. Every time I turn this thing on, it's like another trillion. National debt is over $34 trillion here in the U.S. I don't know where you're at, but we love debt, and you can see that the federal debt to GDP ratio, you usually don't want this anywhere near 80%, and we're at 122%. This is what backs essentially the money printing. We're 122% debt to GDP ratio, and it's not going to go down. The only way out of this situation of what we're doing right here, I hate to say it, it's going to be some money printing. And the printer's going to go burr. And what happens when the printer goes burr? Well, it's very simple. If you take the M2 money supply and overlay this, that's everything in red right here, and overlay it with anything, S&P 500, what do you notice? As the money goes up, so does the S&P 500. Let's take a look at the Dow Jones Industrial Average. Roughly the same thing. Let's take a look at, our favorite. How about the total market cap of crypto? Same thing. How about if we just take just Bitcoin itself? Look at that, just straight up. Bitcoin, because that's the king. Roughly the same thing, because that's the number one crypto that's going to be for a long time. I don't think anything's going to flip that. And then people will say, but you don't understand because we've never gone up in quantitative tightening. Yeah, we have. Yes, we have. And you can see right here, yes, in March 2022, as we, of course, came out of the largest bull run, not for crypto itself, but for most markets, you can see that, yeah, we dropped off and we were consolidating, we were quantitative tightening, but look what happens. Even though we're going down, see that blue mark? That's Bitcoin. It has gone up. ETFs helped a lot. I still say that we're going to turn the money printers back on. And when that happens, I think there should be some quite explosion of prices. I could be wrong. Let me know where I'm wrong here in the comment section. And that'll take part of that. Again, I think it's just, if you just stick around, I think it's very hard to screw this up, but who knows? So there's that piece. And then also I want to talk about this real quick. HBAR Foundation, this was a big news. I was going to do a live stream yesterday, but I just put out a pre-recorded video which talked about dynamic DCAing. You can check that video out in the playlist. But the HBAR Foundation put this out. It said, today we witness real-world asset history as Blackrock's U.S. Treasury Money Market Fund, or MMF, is tokenized on Hedera. Now that part's true. This was done by ARCA-X and owner AIO, making a major milestone in asset management, bringing the world's largest asset manager on chain. Which I gotta tell you, when I saw this, I'm like, well, I should probably buy some Hedera because this only makes sense, right? This whole market, if you haven't figured this out, is mostly moved by sentiment. And even though people say, well, smart money says, smart money doesn't know what they're doing. Smart money is also emotional as well. Not all of them, but I can tell you, I've met a lot of smart money people and they're not any smarter than you. I can tell you that. Speaking of this, this came out. HBAR up 96% after a misinterpreted Blackrock announcement. And here we go. A misinterpreted announcement by the HBAR Foundation suggests that BlackRock's ICS U.S. Treasury Fund was tokenized on the Hedera blockchain in partnership with ARCA-X and Onera, leading to a significant misunderstanding and a 96% increase into HBAR. However, BlackRock had no direct involvement in the tokenization process, as clarified by, I guess, Cardano Ghost Fund, Chris O'Connor, who criticized the way the announcement was framed, emphasizing that the misinterpretation caused unwarranted excitement among influencers. That's me. That's true. And this was actually put out as well. Cointelegraph says, hey, even though this happened, ArcX co-founder and CEO Graham Rutherford said, it was indeed an ArcX choice to put BlackRock's fund on Hedera, but everyone involved was aware. I'm not going to speculate. I mean, that's what we're here for, speculating and all, let's be honest. But the way it was framed, it seemed like there was direct involvement, and that really wasn't what it was. I put this out, and I said, hey, I bought Hedera an hour ago. The news broke that they're doing real-world assets with BlackRock. The whole industry is narrative-driven. This was April 23rd, yesterday. And then when I saw that article and them talking about it, and Hedera the Hedera Foundation keeps putting it out, which is, if they want to do that, that's fine, but that's not for me. I sold it all. So not my finest moment, but I'm not going to support something like that. And it may work out for them, I can say, but just be aware that when news comes out and things like that, we can do our own research, right? People say, do your own research, everything else. Well, that came from the foundation. If they're going to word it like that, it seems a little bit funny. So for me, not a good idea to get into that. But I got to tell you, I mean, it was a nice profit in 24 hours. Now, could Hedera go to the moon? Sure, I guess. I don't really, that's fine. And if you own Hedera, HashGraph, you can tell me how great it is and how it's going to do well. And I'll probably agree with you because, like I've said before, in the bull run, everything goes off. And Hedera could be no different. But for me, I'm not going to stick around with this one, as just there's some ways that it was said, and I'm just not a big fan of those situations. So there's that piece. And then to wrap this up, SEC. So in the title, I said the SEC won. Well, they didn't. They lost, but they still win. And I'm going to tell you why. And this, I'm not going to go over this very quick. I'll go over this very quickly. The SEC faces the big court bill after sanctions. Debix says they have spent nearly $750,000 fighting the SEC's claims. If you don't remember this one, this is with the SEC. It was two specific lawyers who've already stepped down from the SEC stated that Debix was transferring all funds out of the country. That was untrue. They knew it was untrue. They actually transferred funds from one bank in the United States to another bank in the United States. And they made them freeze their accounts even though they knew that was wrong. And those two lawyers stepped down. I'm not here to say that the SEC is totally corrupt, but those two guys stepped outside the boundaries. So they're going to face sanctions. And when I say that the SEC wins, it's because of this. Who do you think is going to pay that bill? $750,000. Does it come out of Gary's pocket? I don't think so. It's come out of our pockets. And that's how the beauty of taxes work. And people will say, well, taxes are very important, so we can build bridges and build roads, and that's what funds the whole ecosystem. I'm not going to argue with that as well. But I'm just saying that when we pay taxes and they're mismanaged, and of course the three-letter agency of the SEC is going against those exchanges that, of course, are what would be good for us. I don't know about Debix. But these are the things that happen. So congratulations to the SEC. Even though you lost, you won because they have unlimited pockets from taxes. And then lastly, 3 years. And this is from this is in the SEC. This is the Department of Justice. U.S. Department of Justice is recommending a 36-month prison sentence for Changpeng Zhao, CZ, Binance. And that is scheduled for April 30th. Now, CZ has already come out and said, look, I was wrong, and I should have been a little bit more forthcoming as far as the AML and KYC process, but this is where we're at. And we'll see what happens. But 3 years, and you can read it. You can just follow me on X and you can find this out. But again, that's where the tax dollars go, and that's what we have. So that's it for today. So look, like today's video, give it a thumbs up, consider subscribing. When we talk about it's time sensitive. Tomorrow is NFA Live, me, Ben in the Cryptoverse, and it'll be Jessica from Coin Bureau as we talk a little bit about who knows what we'll talk about. But that'll be tomorrow for the live stream, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. But that's it for today. So again, if you got to take off, take off.